Debate 2, the Bengaluru Civic Authority has decided to use CSR funds or corporate social responsibility funds for the maintenance of 12 roads. This covers about 13 odd kilometers right in the heart of the city. Now the BBMP says it wants these private companies to maintain the quality of these roads, and in return the firms will get dedicated space for their branding. Now these firms will have to fix the footpath interlocks wherever it's necessary. They will also have to paint the cycle lanes, they have to maintain ornamental plants, repair broken drain slabs, replace defunct street lights, and of course beautify the roads. The BBMP will be responsible for asphalting the roads and painting the main carriageway. The Civic Authority has said this is an efficient way to maintain roads along with private players, but the BJP has launched a political attack. They're saying this is gross mismanagement, as corporate cooperation for CSR initiatives should be for things like education, health, not for building roads. That is the job of the government. It has accused the Siddaramaiah government of emptying the state coffers with over-ambitious guarantee schemes, put together all of which will cost the exchequer more than 50,000 crores annually. Civic activists have also questioned the government seeking records of public spending, accusing the city authorities of massive corruption. The big question then remains, is the pursuit of efficiency, or at least seemingly in a private-public partnership, has the civic management and the authorities responsible for civic management in the IT capital been exposed yet again?
We have only sought some partnership with the corporates with respect to TenderSURE road. We will anyway take up the maintenance. We have enough and more funds for maintenance of the roads.
Karnataka government under Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar has got bankrupt. They do not have any money for even the smallest developmental activity.
We urge the BBMP to fix the systems and processes in place first, fix the accountability in their own organization, and that should take care of itself. There is enough tax money we think that Bangalore is paying.
Problem is that because of all the commissions the contractors are paying, they are making poor roads. Correct thing would be to see that there is no corruption.
All right, so let's go straight across to our face-off tonight. Aishwarya Mahadev, spokesperson of the Congress, is joining us. So Prashant GS is spokesperson of the BJP. Aishwarya Mahadev, nowhere in the country is the whole idea of maintaining roads, maintaining drain slabs, repair of roads, nowhere is it outsourced to corporates or to any other entities. It's the job of the government. It's what people pay taxes for. Why then is the BBMP not doing its basic duty of maintaining roads in the city?
Good evening, Zaka. I want to give you a little bit of context into this, because to spin it as saying, we don't have the money, so we're asking for CSR this way, is something that I do not believe is exactly what the idea is. For example, the Karnataka government under the Deputy Chief Minister has a flagship program where they've asked for 2,500 crores of CSR for education projects where companies don't just give money, but they maintain the schools themselves. This we believe is a dynamic CSR where you are part of the community, you are part of giving back, and we've also seen far better sort of results that way. And for example, and let's make it also very clear, because the BJP has run this entire story of saying we're asking corporates to come and fill in the potholes, a large pothole which was the legacy of the BJP here. We're not. We're asking for the footpaths, as in, for example, in Bangalore, Church Street, Museum Road, TenderSURE roads that have a lot of community presence, that have a lot of commercial presence, that also become hubs of, let's say, clogging in city traffic if you do not maintain it. We're asking corporate companies to come in, take a part, have the return of being part of the community, and also have ads.
Aishwarya, isn't that the job of the government? Isn't that the job of the civic corporation? What are people in the city paying taxes for? There are all kinds of local taxes that are collected. That is for building and maintenance and upkeep of roads. If you're going to outsource that function, you talked about, how educational institutions, that's for education and for health. Yes, that is the whole idea behind corporate social responsibility. That's why it's called CSR, not corporate infrastructure responsibility. Infrastructure responsibility is that of the state.
Zaka, we are not outsourcing the primary job of the BBMP, which is to maintain the road and to ensure that it is something that traffic can move on, ensure that there are no potholes. We are talking about the sides, whether it is beautification, whether it is greenery, whether it is the pavements. We believe that this is a novel initiative which will make people also feel far more responsible.
So here is what the corporates have to do, right? They have to maintain footpaths and cycle lanes. They have to maintain drain slabs. If drain slabs are removed, then it's the job of the corporate to fix that drain slab. They have to maintain and fix street lights. Firms will also have to maintain plants and beautify roads. The BBMP's only job would be to asphalt the roads, basically tar the roads, and to paint the carriageways. GS Prashant, this seems like 80% of the job of the BBMP when it comes to maintenance of roads seems to be given to somebody else. The BBMP is saying that, look, this is not our job, and if we can get people to do this job better and for more efficient monies, then why not?
See, the vacuum of leadership in Congress is now to blame, because if they're now justifying this move, saying that it is community participation, people coming forward, this is definitely no community participation. This is blatant diversion of responsibility and accountability on part of the government to say corporate should come and do this. No, you are supposed to do the basic maintenance. If any extra beautification is required, that the corporate should do, which is generally outside their offices or in the lanes nearby to their office. They will also be allotted a branding space, etc., so that it's more of a win-win situation. Now, it's a classic situation wherein they are being, I believe, forced to do this for reasons best known to Congress, and then say that it is a public-private initiative. No. This is nothing but shifting of responsibility to a private corporate authorities to say you do everything, and the chief minister and deputy chief minister who say that brand Bangalore other things would go there and stand and click photographs. What sort of governance is Karnataka government doing it? This is nothing but...
And one of the examples that is being cited, one of the examples, Prashant, that's being cited is that in Electronic City, for example, which is a large part of the IT hub of Bengaluru, the Civic Corporation does not do all of this maintenance stuff. It's been done by a consortium of corporates who've come together. There is a civic body, which is a consortium of all of these corporates, the various IT companies that have big offices there, and they take care of the maintenance. And from whatever I have seen over the last many years, despite large parts of the city getting rained out during monsoon season, Electronic City is one part of the city which never gets flooded out because it's maintained by corporates. Why can't that example be followed in other parts is the question being asked.
No, Zaka, one thing is fine. Why Electronic City came in, how Electronic City started, if they are doing it, fine, but that's a primary responsibility of the government to do it. Just because an action done by the private agencies are far better does not mean government absolves itself of responsibility and say, look, you are doing a better job than what we are supposed to do, and therefore you continue to do the job. How fair is it to expect the corporates to do it when the primary responsibility of government is being diverted? Is it fair? Just because somebody is doing a good job, which is not their primary responsibility, they are doing it more on a voluntary basis as a corporate responsibility measure.
So let me ask Aishwarya Mahadev, the BJP's political contention is also that all of this is happening because basically the coffers, the state coffers are empty. You've made all kinds of promises to the people of Karnataka with these 5 guarantees. The total estimated cost for these 5 guarantees is upwards of 50,000 crores, 52,000 crores. For Griha Lakshmi, 30,000 crores. For Annabhagya, 10,000 crores. For Shakti scheme, 4,000 crores. For Griha Jyoti, 13,000 crores. For Yuva Nidhi, 2,500 crores. If a large part of the state's budget and its revenues have to be earmarked for these 5 guarantees, then how do you expect the government agencies, the civic authorities, the corporation to maintain roads, which is their primary function? This is the political attack on you.
Zaka, first thing, the budget size is much larger. than what the guarantees cost us. And the BJP has nothing else to say except these guarantees. But let me tell you that the BJP is very happy sitting in opposition because of a few things. It's very easy for them to come and attack us. But let me tell you the reality of what we inherited, right? January 17th of 2023, there was a heartbreaking report in all the newspapers that said that the BBMP had gone broke, that their treasury or the khazana that they had no money whatsoever. They had approached 3 banks to basically try and mortgage BBMP properties in order to get money. There was loss of accounting. There was over 4,000 crores in a BDA scam. You saw over 6,000 crores owed to all contractors who basically were up in arms. And we inherited a BBMP that had absolutely... I didn't interrupt.
One second. Prashant, one second. I'll come to you. Prashant, one second. I'll come to you.
I didn't
Let her
interrupt
finish.
you.
Yeah, let her finish. But Aishwarya, if there are corruption, if there is scams, go after those scams.
Exactly.
You can't just but you can't. That's not what you're. That's not what you're doing. You are outsourcing the job of the BBMP.
Let me answer. Zaka, you cannot conflate a CSR initiative that way. For example, the education is the state's primary responsibility. Why do all states across the country have the highest funding from CSR for education initiatives? Is that a state abdicating responsibility?
No, but that's a social responsibility. That is a social responsibility. Health, education are social responsibilities. Building roads is not a social responsibility.
It is the primary duty of the government.
I have not interrupted you. I do not understand. 1 second. Zaka, again, road safety and also awareness is a part of this, and Mr. Tushar Girinath has clarified on that. But let me complete. Are you talking about did we take action? Did we probe? Yes, we probed more than 230 tenders in Bangalore alone to look and see if there was any deficiency, if there was any corruption, and we cancelled those tenders. Mr. Tushar Girinath has also spoken about a situation where we cannot also pay and payment for tenders because the institution itself was broke, so we're infusing funds.
So
we're saying we believe it is an innovative way.
GS Prashant, you ran the BBMP from 2018 till last year. Where is the money? I mean, look at the stories that we saw over the last 5-6 years, whether it is potholed roads, frothing lakes, or even for that matter, when rain happens. We all saw what happened in September of 2022, where the entire outer ring road areas were flooded out. So it's not like you've done a terrific job.
Zaka, in the last 10 years, we have been in power for 3.5 years. And Congress has been in power for 6.5 years. Be that as it may, in terms of diverting people's minds and abdicating responsibility now, look at the electrocution deaths happening in Bangalore when a young mother and a child had to die because of negligence of BBMP and the government. They wanted to abdicate. Then tomorrow they'll come back and say maintenance of these live wires is also under private-public partnership. Therefore, if at all people lose lives, which should never happen, they will abdicate responsibility and say the private agency was supposed to maintain it, therefore blame them. They're wanting to get away from all sorts of responsibilities and accountability and only want to enjoy power.
No. Prashant, are you saying there were no pothole deaths when BJP was in power? I can enumerate any number of cases of pothole deaths.
No. Zaka, we are not talking about pothole deaths. We are talking about electrocution death of a young mother and a child. A live wire being negligently left on the footpath where people were charged to death.
There were instances of cars being submerged inside tunnels that happened 2 years ago. So, Zaka, there have been as many deaths.
I am not shying away from that. I am also answering that. Look, as Bangalore has grown manifold in the last 2 decades, there have been infrastructure problems. It's not that BJP created it or Congress created, but Congress, when it's come to the power saying that we are going to give good governance, now can't abdicate responsibility to say everything will be done by the private agencies.
Aishwarya, I'll give you the final word. You came in promising that you're going to change the corrupt regime, the 40% Sarkara Commission and all of that, Commission Sarkara and all of that. What you are basically doing, as GS Prashant says, is abdicating your responsibility, letting private... so tomorrow the private companies can say, why should we vote for government? Let's vote for corporates, no?
Zaka, I think that is again a point of absurdity of pushing a nominal statement to something so far. But I will conclude by saying this. They spoke about good governance. My government has come in. Not only have we asked for an inquiry and probe into all the 40% commission charges, we've also instituted safeguards to prevent paper leaks from actually harming aspirants, which I believe is a new thing. We believe that the Lokayukta has also acted. We believe the courts also are very active, and good governance is being ensured so much so that if you go to the ground or even as something as simple as Shakti, you realize that the people also know the
Ma'am,
work that
can
the
you
government
tell our viewers
I-
how
Zaka,
many
case of
potholes
DK
the
Shivakumar.
BBMP has fixed in the last
Zaka,
8 months since you've been in
Zaka,
power?
just a
Please.
minute.
No, one second, Prashant. I'm asking
No,
a
they've
question.
withdrawn case against DK Shivakumar.
Yeah.
They have
No,
withdrawn the consent to
can
CBI.
you? No. That's a political matter. I'm talking about a civic matter. Please enumerate for our viewers how many potholes the BBMP has filled in the last 8 months since the Congress came to power.
Saka, I think the number is directly proportional to the number of deaths that, inversely rather, to the number of deaths that you've seen. The BBMP on a war footing basis has gone on to clear potholes all across the city. And even with the rains that happened, the sort of response that we had was far more in time, was far
Okay.
more so that there's no damage.
We'll
See, it's
leave
not
that judgment to
it's not about
Bangaloreans.
people,
I'm not sure
it's
what
about
has
people
changed, at
and
least from a
Bangalore.
civic point of view and from a quality of life point of view in the last 6 months in the city of Bengaluru. But this sort of initiative of trying to get private agencies, private entities, corporates to move some of their social responsibility funds to maintaining roads and street lights and slab drains on roads and footpaths. Well, depending on which point of view you look at it, is it a novel idea or is it just simply outsourcing what is the primary job of a civic authority? Meanwhile,